It's about the skills of bringing people together and being organized and being involved in a number of communities. And we need to understand and become better informed citizenry. And when we do that, we have a more sophisticated community. And this is the kind of wisdom that I hope emanates from the conference participants.
And I always say that community organizing is itself a kind of, methodology and a form of scholarship and inquiry, because you're attempting to solve what some consider an intractable problem, right? Mm-hmm. Poverty, discrimination.
Black Studies Foundation is really social justice and equity for all people. What this means is that we are always partnering with people across campus and around Austin and even farther afield to think through how to level the playing field so that all people are empowered.
Black Studies here consists of the African and African Diaspora Studies Department, the Warford Center for African and African American Studies, and as I mentioned before, the Institute for Urban Policy Research and Analysis. We believe, a very unique configuration of Black Studies. When you look at Black Studies units across the country, I am not aware of any university that has the configuration of having a department, a center, and a policy institute.
Black Studies at UT has a very long history, I think the 1970s. And like most Black Studies programs, it has this kind of organic relationship to the local political movements and also its Black community. But in the past 10 to 15 years, it's had this decided shift to become more of a fixture in kind of the intellectual structure of the University of Texas.
I was so intrigued and with the important work that is happening in Black Studies at UT Austin and how important it is. Historically, one would not expect a Department of Black Studies to be as strong at UT as it has become, with perhaps more African American PhDs than any other university in the country at this time.
I think people already understand that there's something different going on here because of the kind of notoriety that the individual scholars that we have here are attracting across the nation. But we wanted to be able to have, one place, one event where the full force of that difference and kind of the innovative quality of what we're doing was brought to the fore, and that's what we're hoping will happen with the conference.
Black Studies, historically, at its origin, has always been about the liberation of multiple oppressed groups. Mm-hmm. So in that sense, I don't think what we're saying in this conference or through who we are as a department is new. I think it's a rearticulation of an original vision.
Mm-hmm. The conference came into being a couple of different ways. We had a faculty suggest that we do a conference, and the chair of our advisory committee, Mrs. Araneta Pierce, suggested that we do a conference. She herself has undertaken many conferences.
The conference, for me, has some very profound specifics.
We have Angela Davis coming, we have Saul Williams coming, and Lezley McSpadden.
This is a conference that's been undertaken by the 3 units of Black Studies. One is the Institute for Urban Policy Research and Analysis. The other is the John Warfield Center for African and African American Studies, and the third is ADS, African and African Diaspora Studies Department.
We're a department that understands the intersection of race, gender, sexuality, class, ableism, all that we want to articulate through this inaugural Black Studies Conference here at UT.
And this is so important.
All of these speakers are really thoughtful about matters relating to social justice.
There are multiple meanings and practices which contribute to what Blackness is, that it isn't a static concept.
I think Black Studies is well positioned to offer a unique voice, a unique perspective on these kinds of questions.
And why it's important to bring people from all over the country together in this kind of venue is that it's important that people recognize that not only are we still alive, but that we have something very important to contribute.